to edit your website is being recorded. So I've gone ahead, I've started the recording. We're going to talk about the overall functionality of your website and how you can go about editing it. Awesome. Glenn and Bon, I'm glad that you're able to hear me. And the first thing that I want to talk to you about is how do you get to your agent website? So you have an agent website. It's based off a subdomain of your company website so that you can access the company MLS feed. And your website is likely your username dot your company website. If you don't know what your website is and you're brand new to your company, if you log into your back office account, you can go and find your website by clicking on your name in the upper right-hand corner, and then you can click on website, and it is going to bring up your agent website. Now, a few things that I do want to note is if you go to a different agent's website or to your company website and you try to log in, you're going to get an access denied message. So you'll want to make sure that you're on your site. You can tell that it's your site because likely it's got your phone number here in the upper right-hand corner. Or if you click on the About Me section, it's going to take you to your agent profile. So that is how you know that you are on your agent site. Now, today we're going to talk for about 45 minutes about all the features of your website. Before we jump all the way into that, I want to let you know that your website is fully functional right out of the box. So it's already integrated with your MLS. Your clients can click on it. They can search for properties. They can log in, and you're going to get lead notifications. And what we're going to be going through today is really how do you take your website and customize it to make it feel more like you? If at the end of the session today you're overwhelmed by all your choices, don't worry. Your website, as it is today, does work for your clients. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is once you're on your website, how do you go about logging in? So how do you log in? And if you scroll to the very bottom of your website page, there is a section that says Sites Login. So see right here, I'm going to make it real big for you all. Sites Login. And that is the button that you're going to want to use to log into your website. Many of you will have a section at the top that says My Portal/login. And that's where your clients are going to go to log into your website so that they can save their searches and search the MLS. To edit your website, you want to utilize this Sites Login at the bottom of the screen. Once you click on that button, it's going to ask you for your user ID and password, which is the same user ID and password that you use to log into your back office. And when you click on Login, it's going to enter you into editing mode. And you'll know that you're in editing mode because you'll receive a black bar across the top of your screen. So you know you're in editing mode when you can see this black bar at the top of your screen. You'll also see some gray pencils over each individual section. So that is how you know when you're in editing mode. Before we go to the next section, which is design, does anyone have any questions about how they find their website or where they go to log in? Again, if you're in your back office, you can click on your name in the upper right-hand corner and click on website. Or in your domain bar, you can type your username dot your company website and it will bring up your site. To log in, you're going to scroll to the very bottom of the screen and you're going to click on Sites Login so that you can log into your website. And you know that you're in editing mode because you get this black bar at the top of your screen. Now, as we're going further in, I want to let you all know where you begin. So I know we've got some different style users on the call today. We've got some people who have been with the company for a long time. They've been using their Back at You site because I recognize your names. We've also got some people that are brand new and maybe have never ever edited your website. So if you have never ever edited your website, or maybe you're just looking to give your website a facelift because you haven't done it in some time, you're going to start by going to this design button at the top of your screen in the black bar. That is going to take you to where you can change the overall layout of your website. So when I click on design, I'm going to get a template pop-up window where you can scroll through and see all of the designs that are available to you. So as you're looking through the designs, you'll notice that on the left-hand side of the screen, there is a thumbnail of the overall layout. And on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a bulleted list of the features on that site. So you can see a bulleted list of the features. On the left-hand side, you see a thumbnail. What I want to make sure that you all know is if you're looking at this thumbnail and you think, ugh, I don't like this picture of this girl. There's 2 pictures of this girl on this thumbnail. What the heck? These are all things that you can change. So all the images are changeable. You can change the links. You really want to focus on, do I like the overall layout? And does it have the features in that bulleted list that I want? Once you've made those changes, you can click on Use this design, and your website is going to automatically change. So I can see now I've got a photo in the lower right-hand corner. I've got some different tiles available. And if I like this design, I can start to really go in and edit the portions of this site. So to do that, I'm going to click on this edit page in the upper right-hand corner. So I've got a white edit page button now. And when I click on that, my edit pencils reappear and I'm able to edit the individual sections of my website. So we went in, we clicked on design, we scrolled through the available designs. Once we had the design that we liked, we clicked on the green Use this design button, and it automatically applied all of those changes to this website. Now we're going to start by editing the top image of this site. So at the top, this header image, you can start to edit by clicking on this edit pencil here. Now, depending on what design you've chosen, you're going to have some different options. And that's why I say, hey, pay attention to those bullets because you're going to have some different options. And I want to make sure that you all know what your choices are and how you can utilize them. So the first thing that we're going to go about changing is on the left side of the screen, you have some radio buttons for what type of image you would like. Do you want a slideshow? Do you want a video? Or would you like to link it to a YouTube video? We're going to go through how to edit each of these items. And the first thing we're going to do is editing the slideshow. So as you can see on my site here, they're scrolling through pictures, and that is a slideshow display. So to change that slideshow, I can see the suggested image size here, and I can change this image by clicking on the blue change button. When you do that, you're going to see an image library, and you can see the images that you have uploaded. So if I want to upload an image of my dog Yoshi, I can do that. I would just click on select, and that image would be changed. Now, if I have not uploaded the image yet to my page, I can do that by clicking on the green Upload Images button here in the upper right-hand corner. When I click on that green Upload Images button, it's going to take me to my files where I can go in and I can access photos that I have either downloaded or I have used. So I can go in and I can say, hey, I want to utilize this file, and it will upload to this section, and I can choose that photo. There it is. If I want to change it, no big deal. I can do that. The next option I have is company images. So if your company has uploaded images for you to utilize, they will be shown underneath the company images tab. And I know many of you are with different companies, so you may or may not have this feature. But again, if I click on select, it's going to insert that image here. And the last option for photos that I have is to utilize Back at You images. And these are images that we as a company have uploaded for you to utilize. So if I want to go in and I want to look at photos from maybe Ontario, Canada, I can do that. It will pull up different photos, and you'll notice on the left-hand side, I have some additional options. So the first one is areas, where I can search by area. But I also can go in and I could say, hey, I want to see some interior photos. Maybe you would like to utilize this photo of this kitchen. Once you've made your selection for slide 1, you can go in and you can change each individual slide. And each slide operates independently. So if I've chosen a stock image that Back at You chose for slide number 1, but on slide number 2, perhaps I want to utilize a company image, I can go in and I can utilize a company image for slide 2. And for slide 3, maybe I want to upload my own image, and I can go in and I can say, hey, I would like to use this photo for slide 3. Each slide operates independently of each other, and you can mix and match. I'm going to wait here. I'm going to be patient. I also have the option on each slide below it, other than image number 1, you have to have one image, but on each slide, I can go in and I can choose, hey, maybe I want 4 slides, but I don't want to show slide 5 or show slide 6. Awesome, no big deal. If you would like to see your changes here, you're going to click the green OK button. And you'll notice that my changes are immediately made. So I can scroll through, I can see what each of those images look like. And if I like those changes, I'm going to click the green Save button in the upper right-hand corner. Anytime you see this green Save button, it means if you do not click this green button and you walk away, that your website will revert to what it was before you made your changes. So if I go ahead and I click save, it's going to save all my changes. If I hit cancel, it's going to go back and restore the page to what it looked like before I made any changes. Any questions on how to edit any of these images here underneath the slideshow? Any questions at all there? Okay. I'm trusting that if you have questions, you'll shout out and just type them in that chat box. I do want to make sure you all have a really good understanding of this. And if you have a question, drop it in that chat box or in the question section. I'm more than happy to answer those. Taya did ask the question, can I mix and match for my personal images, company images, and Back at You images for the slideshow? The answer to that is absolutely yes, you can. So on slide number 1, I might have a Back at You image. On slide number 2, I might upload my own image. And on slide number 3, I can utilize that company image that the company has uploaded. No big deal. It's all entered in. Now, the second option that you have, I'm going to change this back just quick, for your website is that you can utilize a video. So if I click the radio button next to video, I can see here that there's a stock video of a parent walking with their child. Again, I've got that blue change button in the lower right-hand corner. I can change this, and there are stock videos available. So if I'm looking and maybe I like this picture of the agents working and collaborating, I can use that. To use that, I'm just going to click on select, and it's going to insert that video here. If I need to change the brightness, no worries. You can choose to dim or brighten the video. Again, once I've made my changes, I click OK and I click save, and it's going to reflect those changes on my website. So I can see that video playing in the background. Now, the last option for inserting a video is if you have your own video. So maybe you've had a video done of you doing an interview, or maybe there's a video about your town that the Chamber of Commerce has provided on YouTube. You can insert a YouTube channel video. For those of you that are on this call that are part of a national brand, so I know we've got some people from franchise style companies on the call, and you can utilize your national brand videos as well. But let's just say that I want to find a video on the town where I live. I can go in, I can find a video from Visit Idaho here. When I open that video, the link that you want to insert is this share link. So I'm going to copy that share link. I'm going to go back to my website. I'm going to paste that link into the YouTube video or URL. When I do that, I'm going to choose, do I want the video to be muted? Yes or no? And once I've made that change and I click OK, again, it's going to automatically insert that video right into my website so that it can autoplay. Now, again, if I decide I don't like that video, no big deal. I can go in, I can edit the page, I can go back, and I can look at this video, or I could choose that slideshow. Okay, I'm going to click OK, and now I've got those changes made. Great question. So there is a question that says, hey, when I type in my name to look it up on my phone, a strange background picture populates. Why isn't it the same profile on the background as in the mobile pic? So I'm going to reword that a little bit, Rosemary, so that everyone can know what you're asking. So Rosemary, you have a video on your website, correct? So what happens is if you choose a video, so if I go in and I've got a video on my screen here, I've chosen a video. To ensure that your website is mobilely optimized for clients who maybe are not in an area that has really good reception, we are not displaying this video when people are looking it up on their phone. We're reverting to the items in the slideshow. So if you want to make sure that those background images when you're on internal pages are images that you want, you'll want to make sure that you have one image here, that you choose slide to show no, or that you have all of these slides set to something that you'd be okay with showing on your internal photos. So those internal pages are pulling from these slides. Does that answer your questions? And Rosemary, are you looking it up on your agent site or are you looking it up on your company site? So great questions. Yep. And so if I'm on my company site and I'm going and I'm looking at an agent profile here, hey, I'm on my company site. I want to look at Jill Wickens. The photo that will show in this banner, depending on the layout, is pulling from the images that your company has chosen. So these photos filter through your website. Does that answer your question, Rosemary? You have control over your website and what images are shown on your website. Your company and your office admins and managers, they have control over what's displayed on your company website. That's a great question. No, so Rosemary, I can't hear you. I'm just going on what you're typing in the box. So the next thing that I want to just mention is in your header image on the right-hand side, I can also choose a little bit and drill down on some of those search forms. So if you want to change the headline from find a home on your main page into home starts here, you can do that. You can set some price minimums. You can choose some subtypes and you can click OK and it will change those headlines. So I can see here that changed that home starts here. Rosemary, I'm going to have you get with your office admin on that. Because without seeing it, really that's the best that I can answer that without seeing it. Awesome. So you can edit the images, you can edit the headlines. And as you scroll down, you can edit each individual section of this site. So if I look at this home begins here, experience the difference, and I want to edit this, no big deal. I can change the title, the description, the button, and where it goes. Again, I can change that image by using that blue change image button. The other option that I have is that I can hide an individual section. So if I don't want this banner section to show, I can click on the hide button and it will hide an individual section. If I decide I want to show that section, I would just click here to show that single panel and it would reappear on my consumer-facing website. If you're choosing a section that has tiles, much like this one does, 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles, again, we're just going to click that gray edit button. This works very similar to editing the slideshow. I can choose how many panels I'd like to display, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. I can change each individual panel. So if I don't want panel 2 and panel 3 to have the same image, again, we use that blue change button. I go into Back at You images or company images or upload my own, and I can select an image that I would like to use. Once I do that, the image is changed. And on the right-hand side for each panel, you'll notice that each panel has an individual title. It also has an individual link. So if I want to change panel 3 from Find Your Office to Start Looking for Your New Home, I can do that. And maybe I want to say finding a home near you was never easier. Find now. And I can change that link. So right now this link goes to offices. So it's going to go to all my company's offices so people can find where I work. But maybe I want to change this and I want the link to go to a Back at You page. I can click on this Back at You pages. I can say, hey, I want this to go to residential listings that are for sale residential. Okay. Once I do that, I can say okay. I can see that my home that has changed here. Again, I can edit each individual panel, or I could say, hey, I just want to show 3 panels. When I click OK now, I'm going to just have 3 panels across that section. Any questions on how to edit images or links on your home page before we jump into a little bit more of the advanced features of your websites? Susan, Shanna, Glenn, any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I would like to start to jump into what about making this more? So Glenn asked the question, hey, if I choose a video for your header, does it only show a static image on mobile or an iPad? On mobile, yes, Glenn, it does only show a static image. But on an iPad, depending on the connection, it would show your video. And those images, if I choose a video here, underneath the slideshow, if you change these images, this is where you can choose what images it shows. So as your website is set up, we talked about, hey, we're linked directly to your MLS, and we're pulling information from your MLS every 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how often your MLS will let us hit their servers. So your clients can easily go in and they can search for properties on your website. When they're searching for properties, whether they add it as a favorite, if they go in and they view the details and maybe email it out or fill out a contact form, or maybe they text it, all of those leads from your agent website are directing into your back office CRM. So leads from your website automatically go into your CRM. And you have control over how you're notified of those leads. So if they click email and fill out the email form, or if they're on your main site and they say, hey, I want to create a portal account, they can do that, and all of those leads come into your back office. You edit the way that you receive notifications from your lead preferences by clicking on your name in the upper right-hand corner and going to the profile and then setting your lead notification preferences. So you'll be able to set your lead notification preferences. And at the top, you'll notice there's a new leads by email, a new leads by text, and a new leads by phone. You choose if you want these to be always, never, or use your office hours below, but I highly recommend leaving at least one of these, whether it's email, text, or phone call, to always 24/7. Because what will happen if you do not have your lead notification set is that you will not be notified when a new lead arrives. So you need to have one of these set to always 24/7. If you choose to use your office hours and you scroll to the bottom of the screen, you can set your office hours here. These office hours only determine your notifications. in the notification that you get, whether it's phone, text, or email, it will tell you how much time you have to accept that lead. So depending on your company's settings, you have a different amount of time to accept those leads. And in the notification, it will say, hey, you have a new lead and you need to accept this new lead by this time. So you're just choosing your notifications for that. Once you choose these, you're going to click Save in the upper right-hand corner, and then your lead notification preferences are saved. Now, the other thing that we've briefly touched on is your agent profile. So Rosemary asked a great question about her agent profile on her company site. And so if I go in and I look at the agent profile here, this information is on your company site. It is also on your agent website underneath About Me. So when I go into About Me, it's going to show my agent information on my site. And when I do that, because it's on my site and it's also on my company site, I have to edit that in my back office. So your About You section shows in both places. And if I'm on my account, my profile, on that details page when I open it up, it will show links where I can enter in links to my social media. It will show images that I can select to have my image on my website. And at the very bottom of this screen, there's a section about profiles. So in that section about profiles is where you would enter in your bio information. So if I go in and I type, I have been in real estate since 2012, and I click on save, then that is immediately reflected on my About Me page. I've been in real estate since 2012. That information goes on my agent website, About Me. It also goes on my company website, About the Agent. So if I want to edit this information, I go to my back office, I click on my name, I go to my profile, and at the bottom of the screen, I can edit my About Me information. Any questions there? About how to edit your lead notification preferences or how to edit your profile. Those are the only two things you have to do in back office because your lead notifications affect your site and your company site, how you overall want to receive leads from the system. Again, we're linked to your MLS, so as people are searching or creating portals or clicking on, maybe they want to contact you, they can absolutely do that. And those leads automatically flow into your back office. You choose how you're notified. And then you can edit your profile in that same place. My name, my profile, details, and preferences tab. Those are two really big tabs to pay attention to. All right. For all good. Shelby, any questions? Any questions for anyone, from anyone before I go into creating your own pages and editing your menu items and that side of things? Okay, so right now, as your website sits, it has access to search the MLS. It has access to go in and has lead capture built in. But maybe you want to create a more dynamic website. Maybe you want to add content to your website that's above and beyond just searching from the MLS. The question is, can you do that? And the answer to that question is yes, you absolutely can do that. You would do that by clicking on the Pages button in the upper right left-hand corner. And when you click on that Pages in the upper left-hand corner, you are able to add pages to your website. So there's a few pages here that my company has made available for me, but I can go in and I can click on this blue new page in the upper right-hand corner, and I can add more pages to my site. So I can go in and I can add either a standard page template, and a standard page template means, hey, the information that is on that page doesn't change until you go in and you manually change it. So I might utilize template 6, and I might use this page here, and maybe I write a little bit about the difference in pre-approval versus pre-qualified and the importance of having a pre-approval letter versus being pre-qualified and why that matters. And then perhaps in these 3 bottom columns, I highlight 3 lenders that I enjoy working with. Hey, I've got one from a mortgage company, I've got one from a bank, and I've got one from a credit union. I highlight them, I put a little bio information in there about them so that I'm providing great content to my potential buyers. Now, a standard page, again, that information is not going to change until you log back in and you change it. Now, there's also something called a dynamic page, and a dynamic page is a place where you can go and it's pulling information from another source. So if I'm choosing a listings template, areas template, it's pulling information from the MLS. I do see that we've got a couple admin on the call today, and you would utilize maybe these agent templates to create and utilize and show different agents on your roster. Maybe you've got a group of luxury agents. Maybe you've got a group of farm and ranch agents. Maybe you've got a group of rental agents. And those are going to pull dynamically from your roster. For the sake of today and the time constraints, we're going to make a listings template, because editing the text on these listing templates is the same as editing the text on these standard templates. But there's a few additional features on those dynamic templates. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select Listings Template 1, and then I'm going to click on the Next button. Once I'm in this screen, I'm going to give my page a name. So maybe I want to create a page about luxury listings. And the name of the page here is what is going to show in the URL. So if I want this to be my agent website / luxury listings, that's what I'm going to put in the name. The title is what is going to display on the page. So I might want this to say, looking for your vacation home, or whatever it might be. I can change this title once I've created the page. It is more difficult to change the URL of the page. So think about what you want your URL to be, and then you can always change the title. You can add a description to this page if you would like. If you want a keyword description to help in search engine optimization, you can also add metadata if you would like. If you don't know what metadata is, in a nutshell, metadata is what Google and other search engines use to classify what your page is about. You can always go back and edit the description or add metadata. You also can force registration on the page if you would like. And the last thing you can choose is, do you want to add this to a menu? Yes or no? And I'm going to select no, not at this time, because I want to create my page, I want to edit it, and I don't want people to unintentionally land there while I'm working on this page. Once I add those items, I click OK, and then it is going to create that page for me. So the page I can see here, we're scrolling, it's creating that page, and I'm going to drop into editing that page. Any questions at this time between the difference in a static page and a dynamic page? Hang tight here, gang. So I go to pages, I add a new page. We're adding listings template 1. We're naming this luxury listings. Find your vacation home. Let's see if I can get past that. I am on a demo site, so I apologize if I get an error again here. At times they do maintenance on that demo site. And so I'm just going to see if I can get past this quickly. And I'm not going to be able to get past that today. But do know that you can go in and you can edit all that. There also is a lot of information on how to edit those pages on our YouTube channel. And one thing that I like about the dynamic pages is this. If I go in and I create that luxury listing page, what will happen is once I set my parameters for that listing, say maybe it's listings from $650 to $1 million, they have to be waterfront and they need to be new to the market in the last 30 days. When the listing results update from the MLS, those are also going to update on that site. I don't have to go in and manually go in and change those listings. My site is smart enough to just auto pull those items from the MLS. So that is a great tool available to you so that you can create your own pages. Now, after you've created that page, you might want that page to be attached to a menu, right? You create your page, you have your URL, you can use that as a landing page through advertising with Google or with Facebook, but you also could go ahead and you could link it to a menu. And so to go in and edit your menus, you're going to click on the menus button at the top of the screen. And then as I look at my default site menu here, I can edit that. So I can go in, I can click edit. And when I do that, I can see my home, for sale, about me, my portal, what's my home worth. But I could add custom pages. So as I go in and I've created that luxury listings, I may want to have a menu item of vacation homes. And if I want it to be a top menu item, I can add it as a top menu item. But if I want to go in and maybe I want it to be a sub menu of for sale, I can click add to menu. Once I click save, that's going to process through. And then when I look at my menus on my page, I'm going to have a drop down for sale of my vacation home. If I want to edit and maybe take something off, hey, you know what? I don't want that vacation home page there. I can delete this out. You also can rearrange things. So if I want what's my home worth to be in a different order, I can go ahead and I can drag and drop those items on my menu and click save. And those are going to be reflected on my menu here. Hey, now they're in a different order. So you 100% can edit the menus on your page, where they go, where they link to, and that side. I did say that you can go back and you can edit the information on a custom page at any time as far as title or metadata or description. When you're on a page within your Back At You website, you'll see this page options at the top of the page. If you click on metadata, it's going to let you change those page details, so the title, the descriptions, and you can add meta tags. That's a very easy thing to do. You also have some options underneath advanced. If you want to go in and edit, hang tight here. If I go into advanced, I can add my Google Analytics. I can add my Facebook pixel. So there are some options here that I can add. If you have your own domain name, if you have kelseysellsrealestate.com and you want to use your own domain name instead of your username your company name, then you can absolutely change your domain name as well. So I told you we'd be at about 45 minutes today. We're at about 47 minutes. I do want to do a quick recap. As I'm doing that, if there are any questions on anything that I did not cover today, I would like to open up the floor to answer any of those questions. So Glenn, Rosemary, Susan, are there any questions that I can answer for you? Again, if you go to your website and go to the bottom of the screen, you'll click on that site's login button in order to enter into editing mode. Your username and password are the same as your back office. Your page is dynamically integrated with your CRM and with your MLS. So when people are on your site saving properties, creating portals, filling out lead forms, all of those leads go into your back office, and you're able to choose your lead preferences by going to your name, your profile, and then underneath your preferences, choosing how you're notified of new leads. Again, one of these three options needs to be always 24/7. Once you've set your lead preferences, you can edit individual pieces of your website by clicking on the edit button, new listings, looking at all items are editable. You can also change the design, create custom pages, and edit your menu options. Anytime you have a green save button show up in the upper right-hand corner, in order to not lose your changes, you're going to click that green save button. And in all your editing, none of your site goes down ever for your clients. So it's all available for you. Leita asks, is this introduction video, is it going to be available on video? Yes, we are recording this session. You will get an email from support@backatyou.com today with a copy of the recording of this session, as well as our earlier sessions on managing your dashboard, so that you will absolutely get a notification and be able to watch this. You also can always access our videos at a Back At You office on YouTube. And here you can go in, and we actually have a playlist of webinars where you can see all of the webinars that we've ever done. So you can access that here. The other places that you can go for support is within your office account. You'll see a little chat bubble at the top of the screen. And you can click on that chat bubble here, and you can enter your name and you can live chat with support. You also have a full knowledge base of information by clicking on the question mark, and you can go in, you can search for support here and get that. Also, we are doing webinars twice a week on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. and 9:15 Pacific time. If you would like to see our upcoming webinars at any time and register, you can see them at showtime.backatyou.com. Next week, we've got a question and answer session at 8 a.m. So if you have specific questions on how to use your office site or office website and manage your contacts or your listings, or you have specific questions about how to edit things on your website, I would highly encourage you to join that question and answer session. There's also an intro to using your CRM session on next Monday at 9:15 a.m. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to copy and paste these links into the chat box so that you have them. If you open them in a separate window, they will open, and that gives you access to go in and fully utilize them. Again, this is recorded. It will be uploaded to our YouTube channel and emailed out today to you all. Any other questions that I can answer? Alrighty, if there are no other questions that I can answer, I want to thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you all had a wonderful and safe holiday last week, whether you are one of our Canadian companies celebrating Canada Day on Wednesday last week, or for our clients here in the United States with us, happy Independence Day. I hope you all have a very successful week, and we will talk soon.